Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
We have a dog looking at us. We do have a live audience.
We have a live
This
audience?
is our live audience. What's up, Aspen? It's a doodle, so it is human enough to serve as a live audience.
I did see him nodding down when he said, "What's up?"
He's definitely not enjoying the rain.
No, he left.
He did leave. He said, get back on topic. Hello, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Thunderword's new podcast, the Thunderpod. It's very exciting to be here, our brand new podcast.
Hey, everybody. My name's Cam Lyons, and I am one of the editors here at the Thunderword.
My name is Mavry Durham. I am another co-editor of Highline's Thunderword newspaper.
Your local Thunderword Thundercast editors, both for the podcast and for the Thunderword newspaper that has served Highline since the 1960s.
Yeah, we're hitting our 60th year this year, and we're also launching the very first podcast, so I feel very honored to be the ones to do that.
I like to think some of it's because of our general finesse.
Oh yeah, that charisma.
Yes.
We each rolled really high on that.
I don't know why our 1960s brethren did not upload a podcast, but
they had a lot going on at the time.
They must have been busy.
Yeah. I mean, what we'll soon learn is we have a lot going on today, too.
We do.
That's what we're here for. We wanted to put this podcast together for so many different reasons. And I remember when I first sat down to start writing this, we first talked about it maybe 9 months ago.
Yes.
9 months ago, we started talking about it, and I had no clue where to start. It wasn't until that first meeting with our associate producer, Rachel, and she showed us what she does for her podcast, that I was able to figure out how to start and everything.
And after a little bit of talking about it, it really did become apparent that it was actually happening.
Oh, yeah.
I think for the first 8 of the 9 months, it didn't feel real until maybe 10 minutes ago when we sat down on the chairs to record this.
Yeah, when we hit the record button. I don't think it doesn't feel real right now either. I don't think it's going to feel real for me until this is published. So we are entering the 2025 winter quarter. This is my 5th quarter at Highline.
Exciting.
Very exciting. I just completed a full year of classes, and it's my 3rd attempt at college. So hitting a full year at college is a pretty big milestone for myself.
So what I'm hearing is you don't give up.
Oh, well, I have twice before, so.
And here you are. No, it is, all joking aside, very common, and there is such a wealth of diversity of people's different career paths. I myself am coming from about 10 years in the workforce and 4 years in the Marine Corps, and doing college for the first time. And that's, I think, one of my favorite things about community college is you will see every type of learner and every type of person wherever they are in their journey.
So you were about 30, 31 when you decided to go to school for the first time. I just turned 23 about 3 weeks ago.
So you, Mavry, have a long way to go. I'm speaking from up over the hill where those AARP millennials live.
Yeah, you're a millennial, aren't you?
I am a full-fledged millennial. What does that make you?
I am an elder Gen Z. I grew up with older brothers. So I grew up with the NES. I grew up with the PSP. I grew up like the later 90s kids. I refer to it as the 90s, not the 1900s. But I was born after 9/11, yes.
You know what? That is another reason we'll have to get representation on here soon of the younger generations. But for now, we do hope that you'll put up with a adult human and their decrepit fellow editor.
So now you know who you're talking to.
That we do.
All right. There is one big difference on campus this quarter. You know, in Building 8, that empty cafe that we've had on the first floor.
I do.
Pretty much the entire time we've been at school.
It's just been taking up no space. Just
it's been taking up so much space that there's nothing there. There's something opening up this quarter. That's going to be fun. It's called Jumpin' Jambalaya, a Cajun restaurant featuring spicy, hearty Southern cooking, and I'm excited for that.
There's always room for spice.
I think that's the biggest difference on campus this year. But zooming in a little bit for this week, it's Thunder Week. CLS, the Centers for Leadership and Service, along with CCIE, the Center for Cultural and Inclusive Excellence, holds a whole host of events the first week of every quarter. These functions serve to welcome students to campus, whether you are a returning or a new student. You can connect with the Highline community or find your own little niche on campus.
First off, we have the Hot Cocoa and Donut Social on the top floor of the Student Union. That's Building A, right in the middle of campus. It is freezing on campus. That does sound mighty tasty. And that is going from 10 a.m. to 12 up there on Monday.
Day 2 of Thunder Week, Tuesday, the Intercultural Center has a Play with Clay event going on. That is taking place from 1 to 2:30 in room 204 of the Student Union. Again, that's Building 8, right in the middle of campus. I believe that is the room behind the Fireside Bistro, the coffee shop that's in Building 8.
Yes.
All right, so that was Tuesday of Thunder Week. That's January 7th, that's Tuesday. Day 3, that is the Thunder Week Discovery Fair. Now, I think this might be the biggest event that Thunder Week puts on. It is held in the cafeteria in Building 8. That's the large area on the first floor of Building 8, and takes place from 11 to 1 p.m. You can expect to see booths from the Advising Center, College and Transfer Services, the Counseling Center, and Trio. There is also a million clubs on campus, so I expect to see a few sign-up booths from them.
The Vietnamese Student Association will be in attendance too. They're working on their plans for the upcoming Lunar New Year.
So Thursday is the 8th, the last day of Thunder Week.
That
is
is indoor mini golf, right?
Indoor mini golf, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
So indoor mini golf is taking place from 11 to 1 p.m. also in the cafeteria.
I appreciate that this one's indoors, honestly. I don't think I've seen a good golfing day this winter.
No, it's been raining since October, so.
I'm too much of a fan of these linen cardigans. I can't let them get harmed. I've got a fancy life to live.
Alrighty. So zooming out to future weeks, the Art Club is hosting their first meeting on Tuesday the 14th. That's week 2 of the quarter. And it takes place from 1 to 3 p.m. on the top floor of the Student Union in room 302.
Week 3, campus is actually closed for Monday the 20th for Martin Luther King Day. Campus will open back up on Tuesday, resuming normal classes. The Art Club has a special meeting that Wednesday. The ceramics department invited them out to the ceramics lab to make pottery and rattles, all sorts of things.
Yes, that takes place from 11 to 12:30 on the 22nd. Again, that's that Wednesday of week 3 in the ceramics lab. That's building 16, room 171. Running Start is also hosting their social on the 23rd in Building 2 from 12 to 2. Building 2 is that large conference room right in front of the newsroom. So it's going to be a big event. Running Start makes up a good portion of campus.
Yeah, the Running Start Club actually hosted a lot of fun events last quarter, so really excited to see what they do this winter.
All right. So a few things going on outside of campus. We got to talk about it. It's coming up. I imagine our next issue will handle it. But guess what is happening this quarter? Guess what's happening in week 3?
What's happening this quarter, Mabry?
The inauguration of Donald J. Trump. We're going to be watching that as closely as our spirit will allow.
Absolutely.
Highline also has an incredible amount of resources available, ones you would never even think exist, but they do, and we're here to tell you about it. Trio will have a table up at the Discovery Fair, and I'm a big old fan of Trio.
I'm not surprised at all. Trio's pretty much everywhere.
For those not familiar with Trio, it is a federally funded program designed to support low-income students, first-generation college students, and Running Start students. They help with academic planning, they help with getting you supplies, they help with financial literacy, and I have had to go with them a few times. The superstars who run Trio are actually really nice. They're super approachable. Their entire job is to help get us through college. They're in the first floor of Building 6.
Yeah.
That is probably the brain of the campus, honestly, is Building 6.
Definitely.
That and the president's office is probably the frontal lobe of the campus.
We got to make a map. A cranial map.
A cranial map of
Yeah.
campus. That'd be pretty good. That'd be pretty good.
Honestly, can I tell you, in my 31 years of life, I've had so many jobs, Mavry. I've had so many jobs. And one of them included a very particularly loud and stressful one in the Marine Corps. And do you know what tool has helped me everywhere I've been?
Go ahead. What is it?
You find somebody near you and ask them something. And then if they don't know it, ask where you can find it. And they will point somewhere and just lather, rinse, repeat those exact things.
Yeah. I actually came to Highline and I had absolutely zero clue what I wanted to study, what I wanted to do as a career, what I wanted to pursue. I moved up here to Washington, so once I had, stable footing, I continued going back to school. I worked with a bunch of, high school students who were my staff and everything. So I just asked them, hey, what's the best community college in the area? Where are you guys going? Not university. And they told me Highline. So that's where I did. I called Highline and I said, hey, I've been to college twice and I want to get back in. So how do I start? And the woman on the phone said, well, first step is to, and that's what I did.
Iconic. And she was right. You know what I hear for advice for nearly every adult in I say that as a 31-year-old, but the advice I get most from ex-college students after they leave,
What?
not nearly enough people use the resources at the college.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Actually, there's TRIO, who we've highlighted.
Yeah.
The career and transfer services will help you get certificates for different careers. They will also set you up with transferring to universities if you need help. They will help build you a resume and all that stuff.
And not even just to mention financial aid and how much you can't just get from a pamphlet, but going to our guidance counselors.
Whenever I was coming to Highline, I was paying the first quarter out of pocket because I wasn't getting financial aid.
Yeah.
And it took me a whole quarter, so 3 months to work for financial aid. And the advisor that I had at the time, her name was Iris at financial aid, and she was a gem.
You are, as the kids say, a real one.
Yes. All right. So let's get to the reason that the podcast exists. Kara Stewart. She is the communications and journalism instructor here on campus. She's also our benevolent patron, our faculty advisor, and our close friend. She has helped us hone our writing and all of it. And so we're super excited. Our first edition of the Thunderword gets released this Thursday of week 1. So we have our very first one, and we had tons of amazing stories from last quarter that we're very excited to share. Speaking of resources, the Wellness Center is opening up to all students on campus. The Wellness Center is basically a fully equipped gym with free weights, cable stations, treadmills, ellipticals, floor mats, and a grass pad in there.
So that's like a full gym.
Yeah, it is a full gym. I don't know if you've ever been down there, but they have lockers and changing rooms and everything.
I have. And as somebody who doesn't enjoy paying a gym membership, speaking of talking of financial aid and taking advantage of your resources, you have a free gym.
You have a free gym.
A free gym.
But anyway, the last quarter's journalism student Outrun spoke to the Wellness Center's director, Natalie Hughes, more about it. So read that full story this Thursday in week 1 edition of the Thunderword.
Speaking of New Year's, we had a few journalism students sharing their writings about the holiday. Lila Nutting, one of our writers, explores the history of different traditions from around the world and throughout history. And honestly, I could not tell you where we got the Times Square bell drop as a New Year's tradition, but Lila does in New Year's Traditions and Superstitions. And Mabry, I actually read this one early. It's one of the fun perks of being an editor is getting a sneak peek at the amazing pieces that our writers write. And Lila Nutting is coming up on our second quarter with the Thunderword. And not to embarrass her, but she's been a rock star.
She has. Speaking of amazing writings from our Thunderword writers, our social media manager from Winter Quarter, if you guys followed us on Instagram, those posts were amazing. Her name is Anastasia, and she shared a story about a painting made by an AI robot that sold at an auction for over $1 million. The painting was of a British mathematician, and the creator of the AI had an interesting take on the direction of the technology. Last quarter, Thunderword reporter Outrun spoke to the project manager Zachary Lambert about the construction happening across campus. In that article, he goes over what their goals are, the timeline, and what students can expect in the coming weeks. So read that this week in the Thunderword. It's a weekly newspaper written by a collection of journalism students and student workers. Anyone interested is more than welcome to enroll and write about any interest you have.
It is a little bit of imposter syndrome the first time. I will only speak for myself. It felt like I was writing just a regular paper for a class until Friday rolled around, my first week. And Kara, the captain of this ship, pointed to the Thunderword website where you can find our newspaper every day. And there was an article with my name on it. And I was a first-year college student, and I was contributing to this thing that I didn't even realize went out to so many people. If you're a beginning writer, such a cool sensation. A big question I get when people do ask what the Thunderword does. It is It is kind of funny because I think the biggest question is, what are the articles about? Are they specifically about campus, or are there actual stories and cool things there?
I know when people think of journalism or when people think of newspapers, I don't know what you think about, but I think of Gilmore Girls. I think of Roy Gilmore at the Yale Daily News, the little newspaper hat. That's what I think of.
I can't sympathize. I think of Clark Kent.
You think of Clark Kent.
I'm way too into Superman. Automatically think of the Daily Planet and Clark Kent.
That's fair. I also think of Spider-Man and
Daily Bugle.
The Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
What was that? What was his editor's name?
J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a way, Kara Stewart is our J. Jonah Jameson.
But without the abuse.
I don't think she smokes cigars either.
Do you remember the first article that you published? What was that about?
The first article I ever published was on Ordinance 818 in Burien, involving the treatment of the homeless people down there.
See, that's a really good article. You were my editor for my very first article about dogs.
That's very kind of you. And I do remember that. I think opening up the Thunderword, I would gravitate towards one of your articles just to wake me up. I don't want to scroll. I don't want to go on Instagram. Just look at any article, and then the second I see dogs with jobs, that's what I'm reading for the next 15 minutes.
It's just pretty fun. I mean, it's a 3-minute read, so you can read it 5 times if you want. But
if I need to, I'll read it 6 times.
Yeah, so if anyone interested in joining the Thunderword, you can enroll in Journalism 101.
Maybe you know about sports, or maybe you have a passion around campus, or you have an interest around some pop culture or sci tech. You can write articles on that and do what you know and just follow your passion. There is undoubtedly news involving anything you're dealing with.
Yep. So look forward to that.
I do think that this is all we have for you today, which is so bittersweet. The ending of our first episode. Here's to many more.
We have 11 more weeks to go, and that means 11 more issues of the Thunderword coming to you every single Thursday at thethunderword.com, and the Thunderpod coming to you periodically throughout the quarter. I believe our next episode is going to be on January 20th, Monday of week 4. So you will hear from us again then. The pod was produced by Kara Stewart, Mabry Durham, and Cam Lyon. It was written and hosted by ourselves, Cam and Mabry. Our associate producer is Rachel Stewart. And who knows who will edit this?
A thank you is on the way.
A thank you is on the way. It'll probably be one of us that has already been named. Hey, it's editing Mabry. Thanks, past Mabry, past Cam, for the shout out. Much appreciated. And thank you everyone who listened to this far. We really, really appreciate it.
So with the Thunderword, I've been Cam.
I've been Mabry.
And we'll see you next time.
We'll talk to you next time. I think that was good.
Yeah.
I really liked that.